Please come to order. Good morning. Welcome to the Commissioners of St. Mary's County meeting, this date, Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. I am Randy Guy, President of the Commissioners of St. Mary's County. I'd like to introduce the other commissioners. Sitting to my right, representing the 1st Commissioner District, which includes Ridge, Piney Point, St. George Island, Mr. Eric Colden.
Good morning.
Representing the 2nd Commissioner District, which includes Leonardtown, Hollywood, Mr. Mike Hewitt.
Good morning.
Sitting to my left, representing the 3rd Commissioner District, which includes Charlotte Hall, 7th District, Golden Beach, and Mechanicsville, Mr. Mike Alderson Jr.
Good morning.
Representing the 4th Commissioner District, which includes Lexington Park, some of California, and Great Mills, and some of Hollywood, Mr. Scott Ostro.
Good morning.
Sitting next to Commissioner Ostro at the end of the dais is our Deputy Director.
Deputy County Administrator.
County Administrator, I'm sorry, County Administrator. On my immediate right is Julia Birch, our recording for today. And sitting at the table to my right is our Communications Director, Jenna Guzman.
Good morning.
Our video media producer team is behind the glass. Please turn your cell phones off or on vibrate. When you come to the presenters table, please come down the center aisle. And remember, this meeting is being televised, so you need to speak clearly and directly into the microphone for recording purposes. In other words, look good. Next, we'll get up here. Please, everybody stand for the invocation and pledge. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the good times we've had in our lives. We also thank you for this great month of giving and have a good Christmas for all of us. Please help us all to make the right decisions for our community and for our county, the 5 commissioners, and may we serve the people of St. Mary's County joyously. Amen.
Amen.
For the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Next, I need the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved?
Second.
I have a first and second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Next, we have a proclamation. It's for the Southern Maryland Hurricane Relief and Recovery Coordination. And we have numerous people out here that are going to receive this. We want to come forward to the dais here.
Okay, I'm gonna have all of my gentlemen circle around.
Come around in.
Anybody else who feels tall today? Feel tall? Every day.
Don't play with me.
Get somebody here to hold this. Now we'll get somebody here. Can you,
So you're gonna slide back. That way you're kind of, yeah, there we go. Go ahead.
This is a proclamation for the Southern Maryland Hurricane Relief and Recovery Coordination. We had a tremendous amount of volunteers that went down south to help people out. My neighbor actually was a lineman for SMECO. They went down there for like 3 weeks to North Carolina. And it was amazing, all the volunteers, all the help and work they did to go down there and do these things. So whereas on Thursday, September 26, 2024, Hurricane Helen made landfall, devastating the southeast coast of our nation and becoming the deadliest hurricane since Hurricane Katrina. And whereas while St. Mary's County wasn't affected by the disaster, a number of citizens felt personally moved to extend a helping hand out to our neighbors, states, during this ongoing recovery and built a network of support. And whereas through their tireless efforts, these everyday heroes were able to not only provide over 41,000 pounds of donated goods, but were able to transport on multiple occasions those donations from our county down to affected areas. And whereas this immense show of generosity would not have been possible without the collective effort of countless dedicated local organizations, businesses, and volunteers. Now, therefore, we, the Commissioners of St. Mary's County, do hereby recognize and commend all who committed their time, donated goods, and offered their services to help those affected by Hurricane Helen. We extend our deepest appreciation to each and every one of you for serving as a reminder of the compassion and strength of our community. This date, December 10th, 2024. Thank you all very much. Thank you. This is your time in public safety words. Good. Get it.
I just want to first say thank you to everybody who made this dream come true. This was a brainchild idea on a Monday, a couple phone calls later to my dad, Charlie Tennyson, and some other local organizations such as the American Legion Post 255 down in Ridge, as well as the Lions Club and the Knights of Columbus down there. And it blossomed and bloomed. Every political line dropped, every misconception, every predisposed opinion of anything. Everything got dropped. Every single person that came together came from different corners of the community. There was not a lack of support from anyone. And it continued and grew and grew. And as of right now, after the first trip down, the nearly 42,000 pounds worth of donated goods, we are sitting closer to almost 100,000 pounds. We have 2 trucks that are currently loaded right now, getting ready to head back down to North Carolina. Miss JJ over here and Cindy and Matt and Leah, they're headed down this weekend. And then Clinton Fence Company, unfortunately, couldn't be here today. They also have sent down no less than 15 trucks at this point. So I want to truly say thank you for everything that everyone has done, every driver, every volunteer, every box, every paper cut we've got putting together cardboard boxes. It's been truly beautiful, and I could not have been successful without the community.
Well, we thank you for what you did.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, organizing all this takes a lot. Mr. Tennis, you have anything you want to say? Go ahead.
I could spend the rest of the day talking about how great Brandy is. It was her brainchild. She met somebody on base that was a pilot, was flying down there. She asked me to help, so I got the Knights of Columbus and the Ridge Lions clubs involved, but it just kept snowballing. But this woman should be nominated for Woman of the Year, I think. When I was in rehab, she came and picked me up, and she was my neighbor, and I had a 40-foot red oak tree go over, and she was over helping me out. And she's been like a daughter to me ever since, so we've kind of adopted each other as father and daughter. And
That's great. That's great.
I've done some. I could go on for half an hour on all the stuff she's done. But yeah, it was a great community effort, and from all the different, from Ridge, Leonardtown, Hollywood, everybody came in from all over. And thanks to PJ Forrest with his. He donated his semi, and without that, we couldn't have got the 20 tons down there.
Wow, great.
So it was just, and then we needed the Knights of Columbus Hall, because that's the only place we had to where we could get all that much stuff together. And everybody had to drive down there, but it was like God had a hand in it, and everything just kept building and building. Because initially, we were just going to get a U-Haul truck and a trailer and see what we could collect, and it just snowballed.
Wow, tremendous. That's tremendous. Yeah. What a great thing. Great thing. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Tennyson. And how about, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, sorry. Hi, Dawn Campbell. I am the director of Shepherd Soulfield Market. We were contacted by the Leonardtown Business Association about spaces potentially that might be available in town where Brandy and her amazing crew could bring their items for staging and storage and prepping, and we just happened to have a space. So we sent the space out and said, here you go, and they have been truly amazing. This crew right here, everyone who's taken part. It's been an amazing love event showing a great outpouring from the whole community. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, team.
Thank you. Anyone else want to say anything? Right back here? All right, just go to introduce yourself. What's your part?
Good morning. I'm Command Master Chief of VUQ-10 here on Pax River. My only involvement is that AT1 Turnbull, Brandy's husband, he's one of my junior sailors. And when he told me about this, or actually when she told me about this and everything that was going on, we advocate family and community at our squadron that without each other, we can't get things accomplished. And we're also called the Pathfinder. So if there's a will, there's a way, we will always find a path to make it happen.
Great.
Good morning, AT2 Cunningham, VX1. I also work with AT1 Turnbull, and I got a text on my way home, and they were like, "Hey, we need people." I'm the president of the JEA, so I was able to rally up a couple guys, and we headed down there, and we just started packing boxes, and yeah, it was nice to do something to repay the community for sure. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Jen Stotler, president of the Leonardtown Business Association, just helped make the connection to give them a spot in Leonardtown at Shepherd so they could, get more items together and that sort of thing.
Matthew Green Norris. I donated my truck and trailer to help haul loads down there.
CJ Kohlhofer, I did the same thing he did.
Hello, my name is Walter. I'm the manager at Smith & Son Small Engines Repair. We donated a few generators to get some electricity down there. At the last moment.
I'm JJ Zander with To Creating Brighter Days Outreach and Missions, and this lady gave me a phone call and said, "What can we do?" And then she found Miss Brandy's post online and said, "We've got an idea." And it's been a wonderful roller coaster of a ride of 2 weeks, 2 months. 2 months. Almost 3 months. What makes me very proud is it's not just one person. It's a community supporting another community. We, Miss Cindy and I and Matt and Leah head out this Friday to deliver another truckload, and the community rallied together till about 7:30 last night, and we got a second truck filled from Clinton Fence. So I want to say thank you to the community to help support a dream of several ladies. Again, our outreach is to Creating Brighter Days, and we're just a small little outreach, but with all these people, it's a wonderful dream.
My name is Cindy Fritz Lang, and this has been an honor and a pleasure. The need is still there. We don't want to forget the people that have been affected by Hurricane Helene and in Florida. And let's keep going when the winter weather lets up.
Hi, my name is Leah Tidd, and I'm with Cindy Fritz and JJ and Matthew, and I've been helping load and go through all of the donations and unload, and it's been such a whirlwind, and it's been absolutely amazing, and thank you all for the help and support.
I'm Kristen Kaufman. I'm with Cedar Point Federal Credit Union. I saw Brandy's post on day one. Hey, we're going to do this little thing with our little U-Haul. And I said, hey, we did this during Hurricane Florence. We can do it again. And we were just overwhelmed. Every single branch all day long. Brandy, we need another pickup. We need another pickup. I mean, it was our headquarters branch had things piled up to here, and we were like picking our way through just to get deposits done, So it was... Yeah, so we had an entire U-Haul of stuff get dropped off at our place, and I said, your U-Haul isn't going to be big enough. So we were just thrilled to be a part of it and to be able to give so much to the people who really need it down there.
Good morning. My name is Manuela Hudson, and I just saw a post on Facebook. There was a need for help. So I'm always scouting out the area for service opportunities for myself and a team of people. I represent Just Serve, which is an initiative to promote community unity through service. There is a website, justserve.org, if you want to take a look. There are many service opportunities, both remote and on location for service. If you have a minute, an hour, and it's a wonderful opportunity. And so I've been picking up donations, dropping off donations, sorting donations, boxing, loading, just whatever is needed. And it's been wonderful. And Brandy, just everybody.
My name is Kelly Thurber, and I am the coordinator for Stroller Warriors. It's a military spouse running club. And Brandy's on our page, and she reached out. We were collecting a whole bunch of clothing and then the other things that she had put out. And I drove it down, and we helped sort and pack. And I am always looking for those community involvement things, especially for kids. There's not many things that kids can come help. And I loved that all of our kids were running around and here, take these toothbrushes over here. And it was great to be able to have them join us to make an impact. I'm sure a lot of the kids are in school right now, but that was amazing to be able to be a part of it and to be able to share that, you know, with my children as well. So thank you so much for the opportunity to join you.
Hi, I'm James Turnbull. I'm the other half. So when you're at work on a Monday and your wife calls you and goes, "Hey, I have this idea," I'm just the guy who didn't say no. I'm in a unique spot right now where I sit between two different commands on base. So I reached out to Master Chief Hunt, VX1 representation, and both of them said, "Go for it. Let's see what we can get together." And everybody community-wide came together. We had stuff coming from up in Charles County, over in Calvert County. And so it wasn't just here. Everywhere we reached out to responded, and it was amazing.
All right, Hunter, you're the last one. Here.
My name is Hunter Turnbull. I'm the one that had the big idea for sorting the packages.
Yeah, he was our little idea man to hang the signs on the wall to help with the organization process, and it definitely helped big time. Good job.
Great. We know there's a lot of people that aren't here that also deserve recognition. They mentioned about PJ Forrest and donated his truck, probably fuel and everything, right, driving down there and back. So that's
Poppy Boutique donated probably close to $15,000 worth
wow,
of brand new clothes.
wow, amazing. And I know just from my neighbor Lyman who went down there and spent several weeks. He said some of the hardest work he's ever done because a lot of roads were impassable, so they couldn't get their truck in there. They had to pack things on their back and hike into these places to fix power lines. And so the whole community and those who were involved, thank you so much for what you've done.
You got here? Draft agendas, today's agenda and all that. Perfect. Hey. Good. Hey, sir. Like there's a bow tie. That's good. He is.
Yeah. I had a feeling.
Good thing.
Yeah.
Right. I'm there.
Okay, we're going to go right into county administrator time. Mr.
Great.
Weisskopf.
Good morning, Commissioners. We'll start as we always do with the draft agendas for the following December 17th and January 7th of 2025. On Tuesday, December 17th at 8:30, we'll have a visit from Santa, followed by fiscal year 24 audit presentation, followed by county administrator time, commissioners time, and then adjourn. And then on January 7th, we'll start at your normal time and place, have a proclamation for National Mentoring Month, followed by county administrator time, commissioners time, adjourn, and then have a public forum on January 7th at 6:30 here in this room. And starting off today is the Department of Emergency Services with the MOU for St. Mary's County Government MSP CAD Sharing Agreement. And do I not see?
Very back.
Oh. Ms. Jen Utz, Director of Emergency Services, and Deputy Director Kirsten Shea approaching the dais. Welcome.
Good morning.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Just a bit of brief background. As you know, in August of this past year, we transferred from our legacy CAD to our new fully integrated Tyler Technologies CAD system. Maryland State Police is a full-service barracks, and historically, what operates on a different CAD system than us. Historically, our dispatchers have simulcast certain police call types across both the St. Mary's County Sheriff's Office as well as the Maryland State Police. And we have shared a view-only access with the Maryland State Police. Maryland State Police request to continue with that partnership, with that shared-only access. So in order to continue with that partnership, share that information, but also lend an eye to network security, we're looking to enter into an MOU with the Maryland State Police, the Sheriff's Office, Department of Emergency Services, and Information Technology for St. Mary's County. And so we're coming today to request approval of the MOU to allow the Commissioner President to sign off on the MOU. We do anticipate additional agreements in the future with CAD to CAD with other counties as we continue to grow the CAD and the capabilities to be able to transmit back and forth with this new CAD system.
Okay. So just a couple questions.
Mhm.
Did we have a formal MOU with the previous CAD system?
We did not.
So why are we formalizing it now?
I think we have an interest in moving forward, maintaining network security. So we're transferring information that belongs to emergency services to St. Mary's County and IT. And so the formalizing it into an agreement allows us to put in the network security that we have internally as we're transferring information externally. So I think it's just a step in the right direction to bolster and be responsible for network security and as we enter into these agreements with other agencies.
I mean, this seems pretty important that state police should be able to get the simulcast for some of these calls. We've known this new CAD was coming for quite a few years. How come we're so late in getting an MOU together?
I think it was really working out the details between the agencies. A lot of conversation. Of course, when you work with other partner agencies, they have their command structure. Maryland State Police goes up to their colonel, who is, it's not as simple as reaching out to the barrack commander and having her sign on. She has to go through her chain of command. Myself and Director Kelly were working some things out between our agencies, inside agencies and the Sheriff's Office. So, but I think it's just, it's adding a layer of security to protect us and our network. And as we work through these processes, we get a lot of requests for sharing information. And I just think we need to be good stewards of county government and our systems and our networks. And again, I can't use the excuse I'm new here, because I'm not new here anymore. But as we work through processes, I really want to be looking and doing a full risk assessment to try to, make sure that we're doing the right things and following the right processes and working as a good partner with the other directors in county government to do that. So, yes, it was coming in full force when I got here, and this is an ongoing project, but I just think that, as we discover things where we can bolster security and be good stewards, that's what we're going to do. I prefer to forecast and plan ahead, but again, if I find something or we find something and we can bolster, that will be our intent to move forward.
Ms. Hutz, you are relatively new. Now, Commissioner President and I go back to a time when there was a big to-do over this, and Commissioner Guy probably remembers. And it required a meeting between the commissioners and the state police and different people. But tell me, does the state police share their information with us? Now, we're going to share our information with them, but is it a two-way street?
They currently cannot. Their CAD cannot. Right?
I knew that to be the case from last time.
Right. But it is written in the MOU that should they be able to, should their system change and they have the ability to reciprocate, that they will. So it is written in the agreement that they will.
All right, well, then let me ask you just a quick question. Something happens that they're aware of and we're not aware of. Would it be reasonable to think to pick up the phone and say, by the way, we got this going on, you need to get the EMS, you need to get the sheriff's office?
That routinely happens through the radio system or by them calling over.
And it just seems like it makes sense that when they know, we know.
Right.
Well, okay. As long as this MOU is going to be a two-way street, Because that was the issue before, wasn't it, Commissioner
Yes, it
President
was.
Guy?
Yeah, and I believe in talking to the lieutenant, the current issue is the state police, they can't segregate by county or by jurisdiction. Their system
Right. They're the
sends
whole-
everything down, and so that it shares the whole state. And so, in essence, if they shared it right now, they would share the information for the whole state. And that would be cumbersome as well.
Okay, okay.
Do they have a new, you alluded that, should they change their system, are they planning on changing their system or updating their system to be able to give them the ability to do that, or?
I believe they're looking into a new system into the future, but right now they're operating under their current existing structure.
Well, it seems like cooperation is a good idea. I move to approve the memorandum of understanding between the St. Mary's County Department of Emergency Services, Department of Information Technology, St. Mary's County Sheriff's Office, and the Maryland State Police to view only access to the St. Mary's County computer-aided dispatch for police simulcast communications, and authorize the Commissioner President to sign all the related documents.
Second.
Okay, I have a first and second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is from the Department of Aging and Human Services with fiscal year 2025 senior care grant application and notification of grant award. Director Lori Jennings Harris presenting, along with Ms. Rebecca Kessler. Welcome.
Welcome, ladies.
Morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Weiskopf. So, as just mentioned, this is the FY25 Senior Care Grant Application and Notification of Grant Award. We received this award from the Maryland Department of Aging, and we have for a number of years, probably 40-plus years. The grant award is $195,876. We use these funds to help individuals who may be eligible for a higher level of care, like in a nursing facility. And for those who are age 65 and older who qualify, it's a coordinated effort between our department, Aging and Human Services, the Health Department, which does the assessment, and the Department of Social Services, who does the case management.
How long has this been going on, did you say?
About 40 years.
40?
40.
40. Okay, that's a long time.
But you've been getting the grant for same time or just 21 years?
I'm sorry?
The grant, you just got this last 20 years?
40.
You've been getting it for 40 years. Wow. Okay.
Well, I move to approve the senior care application and notice of grant award for the project number MD2503 from Maryland Department of Aging on behalf of the Department of Aging and Human Services in the amount of $195,876 and the related budget amendment, and authorize the Commissioner President to execute the related documents.
Second. I have a first and second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Next up is from the Department of Economic Development regarding the Regional Agricultural Center. Director Chris Casalemas presenting. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Weiskopf, and good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
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 Today, we're asking Commissioners to approve a mutual agreement between the county and the Tri-County Council in Sematic for the termination of the Regional Ag Center project. Today's action was, of course, not what was envisioned when we began this project. But as we sit here today, a regional ag center is in development under private ownership that will fill the need for the service, and no county dollars are involved in that. So today we have an agreement that has consensus by all parties, an agreement that clarifies any ambiguity regarding the amount to return to Sematic from the original $1 million grant. And that amount is $450,000, which means no county dollars have been invested in this effort. An action that will free up almost $2.6 million in county bond authority and eliminates any future financial risk for the county. And movement towards a private sector meat processing center that will fill the gap to serve our county meat producers and residents. And just a note about that, the private sector meat processing business is in operation now, but the meat is not for public sale because they lack USDA certification. They're working towards that, and they're also working towards an expansion of their facility. Today's termination agreement came together by mutual agreement. It's been clear from statements from both the county and the TCC and Sematic that there was mutual interest to end the effort to construct the rack. The agreement ends any ambiguity. regarding how much of the $1 million to return. The county proposed returning all unexpended grant funds, which totals $450,000, and TCC and SMEDEC supported that. SMEDEC also requested that the county turn over the plans for the rack, and we support that as well. So while no county dollars have been invested, certainly a lot of county time and energy has been invested, and I wanted to take a minute just to acknowledge the hard work of Jim Gotch, Gary Whipple, and especially Drew Kelly from Public Works and Transportation, and also County Administrator Dave Weiskopf and Dave Yingling, and my team. Termination has nothing to do with lack of effort on the county's part. We have worked very hard to make it work and explored creative solutions, but in the end, the projected cost has exceeded available funding. I want to end by saying that there's a state-funded ag infrastructure gap analysis for Southern Maryland. It's underway and almost complete. And when that analysis is done, we'll bring that before the commissioners probably in early next year. That will show where county dollars have the greatest impact for our ag community. We have a strong commitment to the ag community here from the county, and we recognize the very positive impact that our ag economic development has in our county. This report will just help us determine where future county dollars should be spent. So Mr. Hartline's in the audience today. He brought signed copies of the agreement. And with that, I'll turn it over to the commissioners if there's any questions.
Yes, I have not multiple, but I just want to make some observations.
Yeah.
So I think this is a great idea because the rack, when we started it out, we had that $1 million coming back to the county, and we thought we were going to get this rack for about $2 million. Obviously, we knew it blew up $8 million. What the great news here is we're going to get a processor in St. Mary's County in the Stauffer butcher operation. I went by yesterday and met with the owners, Stephen and Jennifer Stauffer, and they have an idea that they're working now. They have the refrigeration, they have the machines, but they're small. Yeah. And what they can do, and hopefully through Tri-County Council, this $450,000 can be redirected to a grant to help people like this who are already there, because we will not be competing with the county. When the county did the rack, we were going to be competing with people like this and people who are selling their products at their farms. So with this said, I totally support this idea. I'm going to vote for it, but I would say this, whatever we go forward, we make sure that they have a business plan that supports whatever grant opportunities that are available to them. They've already talked about grant opportunities they've gotten through Medco maybe, or more Bedco or something.
More Bedco, yep.
More Bedco, yeah. But they've been small, like $20,000. Not enough to make a difference. This will make a difference to them. Now, they also indicated a willingness or a desire to become a slaughter operation too. And that is something that they'll need help with, and I've told them I'd be glad to help them. They're in my district. I'm claiming district, courtesy here. But the thing is, it's a great idea. And one of the main things they said I think was very interesting is when the county had this idea to do this rack, where were they going to get the meat cutters? Where were they going to get the people to work there? Because they're very hard to find already. And secondly is that they have that there with their own operation. So I think this is a great idea, and it's a great move forward, and I hope Tri-County Council can help them.
Any other questions, Commissioners?
No? Sounds good.
I'll take a motion.
I move to approve the agreement to terminate the Regional Agricultural Center between the Commissioners of St. Mary's County and the Southern Maryland Agricultural Development Commission and the Tri-County Council for Southern Maryland, and have the Commissioner President sign the related documents.
Second. I have a first and second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Castellanos.
Thank you, Mr. Castellanos. Next up, from the Department of Information Technology, the Grant Award Amendment, Department of Housing and Community Development, Office of Statewide Broadband, Maryland Connected Devices Program. Director Bob Kelly presenting, and I knew I couldn't get that out before he sat down.
Breathe, sir, breathe. Good morning, Commissioners.
There's nothing wrong with pithiness in a title.
I tell you what.
Well, Commissioners, 2 years ago at about this time, December 2022, I was before you with the original Connected Devices grant that was being offered by the Office of Statewide Broadband. With that, I believe the state purchased over 170,000 HP Chromebooks, and we're with a plan to distribute those statewide. And at that point, we aggressively requested 4,500 Chromebooks for St. Mary's County, and this spring we distributed the last of those. About 4 weeks ago, I received a phone call from the Office of Statewide Broadband, and they said that they had a municipality that that hadn't distributed all the devices that were allocated to them, and there was a desire to keep those and distribute those units in Southern Maryland because that's where they were allocated. And so in 4 weeks, which was remarkably fast, not only for county government, but also for impossible for the state almost. But last Wednesday, I received an amendment from the state based upon reaching out to our partners. I figured we could probably distribute about 250 through our partners, and if we did one more public distribution, we could probably do up to about 500. And so that the request before you, the MOU before you, is requesting an additional 500 devices to be allocated, not just to St. Mary's County, because we're going to open it up to both Calvert and Charles, say Southern Maryland, but I'm hoping that you approve this because there's a lot of work that's been done already to prepare for a public distribution this Saturday. At the District 4 District 4 Sheriff's Office station down on Great Mills Road.
What's the criteria for receiving one?
So essentially, Commissioner, a veteran's pension, almost any state or federal program like SNAP, free and reduced meals with the schools, Medicaid, disability, SSI disability.
What about someone, say, receiving funds from local charities?
So it has to. It's restricted to government programs. However, many of those folks, we are partnering with those local charities and those local organizations that are actively involved with those that maybe are less fortunate than others and have a need. And actually, if out of those 500 that we're requesting in this MOU, if you authorize that this morning, by this afternoon, I'll be able to distribute to those charities and some of those other organizations about 200 devices this afternoon.
What about seniors? Would they be allocated some?
Yeah, so housing, folks that are on housing and folks that have like SNAP program, again, it is related to the government programs. So
is there also an income level? Certainly.
Yes, if you're 200% under 200% above the poverty level in the United States, which is right around $30,000 a year.
So, Mr. Kelly, I got a couple concerns with this.
Mhm.
So with the first iteration of this grant, it was 4,500 Chromebook laptops,
Yes,
correct? And your department did a Herculean effort to get those out. It was very impressive, and it was a good thing. No one's saying it wasn't a good thing. I think when we first approved it, we saw, hey, look, all these free laptops just to give out to people who need them. That's great. But then the cost that came along with that was a significant amount of comp time needed by county employees in order to make that happen. Now, I see you're getting a $3,000 stipend with this.
It's like 30,000.
30,000.
No, it's actually 3,000 with this amendment. It's a total of 30,000 that's been the stipend
So
for
we've
the
spent the
entire grant.
$27,000 stipend.
Yes,
So-
and what we've spent that on is the advertisement and flyers and materials.
So the 3,000 does not cover any county time or effort that goes into that.
No. As a matter of fact, the commissioners in the original MOU authorized the comp time, and I would be requested it again for this Saturday.
So when we did the 4,500 last spring, it got down to be a struggle to get rid of them. You really had to push to get rid of the final ones. So that leads me to believe we've kind of tapped out who we can give these to.
Well, there was concern, and I had discussions, and that's why before giving a response to the state about our interest, I had reached out to our previous partners, and like I said, we received back, and we have qualified and have actually qualified through eligibility and over 200 as of this morning. So almost half of what we're asking for in this MOU, almost half of those devices we're already able to issue, and I'm pretty confident that we can do another 300 in the public distribution. Additionally,
I think 300 this Saturday
yes.
you can get rid of?
Additionally, the state, so there's two things in my discussions with the state once they opened it up, two differences. Previously, it was one device to an address. And my concern when I talked to them 3 weeks ago was that it's a pretty transient population that we're trying to service here. And my concern was we have folks, because it started happening near the end of our distribution, right? Folks had moved into a new place, but the previous resident, tenant, or whatever had already received advice. So the wording that the state has allowed now is it's a household. So it's not just the address. So we've worked with legal. We have a little affidavit that they can sign if we have already issued to that address. They're going to state that it's a different household. And the second thing is the grant because it's using ARP funds. The state has they had a requirement, if you will, to be these devices distributed by the end of December, the end of this month. Mm-hmm. And this amendment allows us to go to June. So I'll have a significant amount of time. Quite frankly, we have a database of those that have signed up and requested previously that weren't able to come by. And near the end of our spring, the last bit of the first allotment that we got, we actually just let folks come and invited folks to come here to Leonardtown to pick up the devices. And it's a couple of minutes to verify that they're on a program, that their address, and then give them a device. Right. So I'm very confident with us being able to go to the end of June with this amendment. And giving, having almost half of them right now already allocated, I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to distribute these.
I think my other concern is I sat down last Friday to read the County Times newspaper and read about this distribution, and that was the first I'd heard of it. So it sounds like it was advertised and promoted before it was even approved through the commissioners, and I think that sets a really dangerous precedent if something like that, or when something like that happens.
Yes, and so the challenge that we have is that with such a short turnaround and short notice, and at the time we were not aware that we were going to be able to extend beyond December 31st, and we really it was discussions that we had internally in county government were that we would be wanting to take advantage of the Christmas holiday. For example, one of the two of the groups that are significant in those devices that are already allocated are Toys for Tots and Shop with a Cop. So without without moving quickly and getting just email assurances from the state that they were going to allocate, that they were going to give these to us, I think the thought process was that since the commissioners approved it and we were successful with distributing those 4,500, there was a thought that it would be well received. It's a benefit to the community. But if the commissioners, are not interested in pursuing this, I can go back to the state, and I think there's an opportunity for nonprofits, and I can certainly find a nonprofit that would take it up.
I think it's not so much. I agree with Commissioner Colvin. I first time I heard about it was last Friday as well, And
I'll take the hit for that. I will take the hit for that, okay? We wanted to get it out before Christmas. I did not think the commissioners would be upset with it, so.
No, it's allocating county resources before it's even been approved.
Okay.
That's
my fault. I
And
apologize.
I think it turned out to be last time a lot more work than I think we first realized with getting them all out there. And I think your department did, and county government did an incredible job getting that 4,500 out there. But I feel like that was sufficient. And before it was our county government supporting St. Mary's County, and now we're supporting all of Southern Maryland and kind of being asked to pick up the slack for the rest of Southern Maryland.
Are you getting any help from Charles and Calvert County on this?
Well, initially we did allow for Charles and Calvert County. You may recall that Calvert County did not submit on the first round, and Charles County only asked for, I can't remember, maybe like 500 or something. So it's not inconsistent that we were providing devices outside of the county. So that's not inconsistent. We did stop for a period once Calvert County received their allocation, and it became difficult dealing not with Charles County, but with the state database and dual entries. But that's not occurring now. Okay. So. Yeah, it was a heavy lift. It was a heavy lift for the county, and I would say that there were some challenges, but overall, 5,000 devices is what is that? That's probably like just almost 5% of our population that are eligible. And that received the devices. And I think I had shared previously with the board and actually made public some of the comments and people's lives that have been positively affected. So if the commissioners don't want to do it, there's no doubt I have 3 or 4 nonprofits that will take this up and do it. I'll just get the name changed on the MOU with the state and still move forward.
Well, that actually is not a bad idea if we have local nonprofits that are willing to take up this burden and handle it. It seems to make sense to me.
I think we've gotten ourselves out there, and the whole thing to me is transparency. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that later too. Is that we know what's going on before we read it in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Agree on that, but
would transferring over to a nonprofit, that's not going to affect the end date for the June end date?
No, December.
I would seek to get the same MOU.
Be the same MOU, and how long would that take to get squared away with the state?
I haven't approached the state with it. I'm sure, they were pretty quick in trying to get this resolved.
Well, look, lesson learned. Let's do this thing. Get it.
I think we already have. They've got the database and everything to support it. I
lined
don't think we should try in the middle of it now too.
Yeah, I think if we try to rechange now, then delays it, and I think this whole idea of Christmas is a good idea. I move to approve the Department of Housing Community Development Office of Statewide Broadband Maryland Connected Devices Program Grant Agreement Amendment on behalf of the Information Technology Department for the total grant amount of $993,750 for devices and $30,000 for the stipend, and authorize the Commissioner President to execute all the related documents.
Second.
Can I have a first and second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
1 no.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, Director Kelly.
It is good work that you're doing, so thank you for that.
But you got a point. Look, you got a point.
Department of Public Works and Transportation Child Care Facility, Leonard Hall School renovation. Director Jim Gotch. Welcome.
Morning, Mr. Gotch.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, the last time I was here, I was instructed to go find some money. So that's what I'm here for.
Thank goodness.
We have the Child Care Center in Leonard Hall building. And what we're asking today is to move $1.1 million from our highway fund, it's an account, Highway 2101, into the capital reserve, and then to transfer out 1.324845 million to the child care center. And the difference between the two numbers, we put in, the last time I came, $350,000 into the capital reserve from the North County Farmers Market, the Barnes at New Market. And so this is 225 of the 350 coming back. And so the second motion is to award the contract to Centennial and allow the procurement officer to sign contracts in excess of $1 million. And I can give you more details if you want. There's, when we upgrade the building, there's a lot of maintenance, deferred maintenance that hasn't been done that we've got to pick up. There's a lot of renovation cost. Before, we had talked about, I think it was 73 children. We have two rooms that would be open storage rooms in the building. To run plumbing to the one room is just under $28,000. So we could increase the number of children from 73 to 108 with the $27,000, which we would pull out of what we had as the contingency last time.
That sounds like a good idea, because you have a big contingency.
Yes. And then the second room, we did not want to convert the room. We have water and sewer right next to it. It's a utility closet close by. So we could run water and sewer, but we think the program, what type of kids, the bathroom facilities would be different for infants than it would be for older children. So if we convert the one unused space, run all the plumbing to it, and build the bathrooms, that would be for older children. The second space, we'd have to see what the use of the facility really was once it opens up and what their needs are. And then we can convert that later.
All right.
And that would.
Still going from 73 to 108.
Correct.
That's a big increase.
Yes, it is. Definitely, yeah.
So this total project is $3,506,000.
Correct.
Is that all going to Centennial, or is a portion of that being used elsewhere? How much is motion number 2 for?
The Centennial is a prime, so yes, we have contracts that are over $2 million that go directly to Centennial. There would be other subcontracted work, like the playground equipment, that sort of thing. So.
I just want to make sure a good portion of this money is kept in the county, going to county businesses.
Or at least local subcontractors.
Yeah.
And Centennial uses local contractors when they can, is my understanding.
Yes.
Well, this whole Centennial idea is, I heard about it through the Willows Recreational Center. But what's confusing about it is how come we don't have local people available? This Centennial, they're like a national company, right? Where are they located at? They're not in Hughesville or something, are they?
Located at.
Yeah, see, that's been the.
They have an office in Prince Frederick in southern Maryland.
So they have an office down here. But I heard that they were a national company, and we also used an outfit called Gordian that somehow is connected there. Contractors have reached out to me to say it's confusing for them, and how can they get on the list to be able to, bid on stuff like this? Because it would seem like they would be the most reasonable, or the most, they wouldn't have to mobilize, because Centennial, again, while they have an office in Prince Frederick, they don't have something here, and I'd like to see more in St. Mary's County. So maybe procurement can help us out with a way for local, whether it be the Wayne Davises, the CMIs, the Trading Post, the companies that do a lot of work in the county, an opportunity to get bidding on this.
Sure. And if we can get to them through procurement, we're more than happy to do so, even get bids from them. We're able to use Centennial based on a state contract. So.
Okay, since the last time we've met, I'm sure the contractor at Centennial has had more time to look at the project. Is that true?
They did.
Have they found any surprises between last time we met and now?
No, they have not yet.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, they haven't started ripping anything apart yet. That's the,
Well, again, they don't have to dig up. Usually when you find your surprises, it's underground. I mean, you may find something inside, but $500,000 can remediate a lot of stuff.
and all the classrooms have restroom facilities in them. So we're going to be saw cutting concrete and running water and sewer to all the different classrooms.
All right, well, hopefully you'll be going outside for your stuff to run some of that plumbing, because I want to keep that, that contingency down.
Yeah, there's an open chase that runs around the outside of the building that we'll use if we can.
Good idea.
And is the school still using the facility?
As of right now, I believe they are. I have not gotten a school bus, non-public school bus change yet.
And do we have a formal end date for when?
So the school has two options that they're looking at. Both will be at the end of the semester. One is what they described as turnkey, but they couldn't tell me where the location is because they've signed an NDA with whoever they're negotiating with. The other one, they have a backup plan that we've worked with Lugum to ensure that it meets all zoning requirements. Both of them will be during the month of January. So we have good news from the school that they have found a location.
So they will be taking one or the other?
Yes.
It's not a case where they're gonna, this fell through, so we need to stay longer?
It's not my understanding, and also they need to make a decision on where they're going to go, because in January is when you have the Catholic Schools Week. This is where we're going to be next year, looking for new students, and so it is in their enlightened self-interest to identify where they're going. So that's the direct communication that I've had from their president.
Good. Well, I'll make the motion to approve the budget amendment returning $1,100,000 from the HW-2101 to the FIN 25 Capital Reserve, and to transfer $1,324,845 from the FIN 25 Capital Reserve to RP 2402 Child Care Facility, and authorize the Commissioner President to sign all related budget amendments.
Second.
Discussion. Just for clarification, I'm going to be voting no on these motions. I think the child care facility is an excellent facility. I just don't like this plan. The original plan used entirely fund balance, and now we're going to be using bond authority, and the county citizens are going to be paying for 20 years to pay off this, and I just can't support this path for the plan, but I hope that I'm wrong, and I hope that it succeeds greatly.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
2 noes.
Motion 2, I
Motion
move
carries.
to authorize the procurement officer to award the Leonard Hall School renovation project to Centennial Contracting Enterprises Incorporated under Sourcewell Cooperative Contract number MD-R4-GCO2-052621-CCE. That's complicated, sir.
Yeah.
In an amount estimated to exceed $1 million, subject to receipt and acceptance on contract-related documents.
Second.
Any contract-related documents.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
No.
Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, from the Office of the County Attorney, legislative updates. Deputy County Attorney John Hauser presenting.
Good morning, Mr. Hauser.
Good morning, Commissioners. Once more, John Hauser, Deputy County Attorney, here with you 28 days and 2 hours on the dot from the start of the 2025 legislative session. Not that I'm paying close attention to it. Purpose this...
28 days?
28 days, 4 weeks exactly. The session will gavel in at noon on January 8th, and then 90 days out is when they have to do all their business. Purpose of this morning is to, just after Ms. Giddens presented on my behalf on the 19th, just to go over with the commissioners the couple of developments we've made on the 3 deferred items you took final action on that day, and then to just say that we still have the bond authority bill hanging out there, which we expect will probably be taken care of one way or the other today, is what I think we're expecting, and then to pass along a few updates on the status of these bills with our delegation in Annapolis. So going on the memo, the first one up, the only legislative item still awaiting action from the commissioners at this time is the Department of Finance's request for new authority to issue additional public facility bonds. Understanding is like last update on the 19th. So I think we'll just hold this in abeyance right now, hang out in the galley while the budget work session goes on, and if we reach a consensus on what the number should be today, make the motion at that time to request the legislation for that bond authority. But I think that is just a hold in abeyance for right now this morning. As far as the other three deferred items, the commissioners took final closeout action on those on the 19th. On the Department of Economic Development's request to amend the alcohol, beverages, and cannabis article to create a multi-licensing plan for St. Mary's County, commissioners did take a vote that day to go forward with that request. The only update is that I was able, when I got back into the office, to draft some language that I think effectuates that. Shared that with the Alcohol Beverage Board. The Alcohol Beverage Board will look that over, and unless the commissioners have any issue or objection to the language in front of them, or if it makes you rethink the proposal, seeing the actual language itself, then we are able to send this on to the delegation without another vote by the commissioners. Next deferred item after that, the commissioners, I believe, voted to more or less permanently table pending movement from the state, is the proposal to do something or seek some relief for our school bus contractors for the difficulties they've been having getting prompt refund of motor tax they are paying, even with the exemption there. Plan is, as long as the commissioners are all right, to just hold this in perpetual deferment upstairs until we get the promised guidance from the comptrollers, or if 60, 90 days, however long passes, that it just doesn't look like those statements the comptrollers made to the delegation that they will be doing something about this, if it looks like they need a prompting sometime before the session ends. But otherwise, we will just be holding that one upstairs. The only other item then, the commissioners voted to forward Mr. Walters' proposal to amend the Library Board of Trustees terms of service. We did follow the commissioner's instruction to forward that to the delegation with a cover letter stating that the commissioners take no position on it themselves, but just forward it to the delegation for their consideration. That's all we have for updates from St. Mary's County. From Annapolis, the word from Delegate T. Morgan's office is that all bills have been sent to the Department of Legislative Services except the bonding bill and have been drafted. So they've at least gotten in their requests and have something to vote upon. The vote with the delegation itself on whether or not they will move on all, none, or some of the proposals that have been forwarded to them has not occurred yet. There is no set date from my understanding, but that will happen sometime in the first or second weeks of January. That gives us a comfortable margin as far as getting bills into the hopper, because the bill introduction dates this year for the Senate and the House are respectively February 3rd and February 7th. So there's plenty of time to get bills still, now that they've been drafted, filed, and guaranteed a hearing date. That's the only update. That's, I think, the quickest legislative update we've ever had in 3 years. Available for questions. Otherwise, look forward to seeing the commissioners January 7th, right before the start of session.
Sounds good, John. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners.
Next up from the Department of Finance is the American Rescue Act Federal Grant Update. Deputy Director Joy Sapp presenting. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, Joe.
Morning.
The American Rescue Act funding was approved on March 11th, 2021 by the Department of Treasury, and information was released on May 10th, 2021. Our total funding allocated in fiscal years 22 and 23 was just a little over $22 million. And as set forth in the Treasury's implementing regulations, the award must cover eligible costs during the period beginning March 3rd, 2021. Funds must be obligated by December 31st, 2024, and final spend by December 31st, 2026. So as of December 4th, our accumulated expenses were $18.5 million and encumbrances of $2.8 million. So we have expended and or obligated $21.3 million thus far, leaving an unspent balance of $707,054. The next quarterly report is due January 31st for the quarter ending at the end of this month, December 31st. So we're coming before you today to let you know the balance of unspent funds, as I said, is $707,054, and we just need a formal motion. You spoke last time and with your wishes to use that towards purchasing radios and emergency services. And we just need a formal motion to go forth with that. Any questions?
Seems like this number's jumped around, wasn't it? Wasn't it like 400,000 or 300,000? And anyway, so you've done a sweep.
We've
and this
used
is what-
you did already approve a motion to use 423,000 for the microwave.
Right.
So that's
Okay.
part of,
That was the microwave.
yes.
I thought previous to that, we had actually already approved using that money for the radios.
Yes.
It wasn't put in as a formal motion. We went back and listened, so we just want to make sure that's formalized.
I think we're waiting to get all the costs per unit on the radios before we made a decision on how much we were going to spend.
That's right.
When we look at this 22 million over the couple years, a lot of good has been done with this. in our county.
I agree.
That's been really good. I move to approve the remaining unspent funds in the American Rescue Grant be used by emergency services to purchase radios in the amount of $707,054 and authorize the commissioner president to sign any related documents.
Second.
Discussion. EMS is going to be a big deal this time around, between pay and what we've recently heard from Second District about needing 24/7, 365 help. EMS is going to be a priority for this commissioner, just putting that out there.
Agreed. Sure. Agreed.
It's priority for all of us.
I agree.
Can I have a first and second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Ms. Sapp.
Sometimes those priorities jump around, Commissioner President.
I understand.
Thank you, and that is all from the county administrator.
Okay, we go right into commissioner time. And we'll start with Commissioner Hewitt this time.
Oh, goodness, thank you. Well, later on this afternoon, we're going to MACO. MACO, the Maryland Association of Counties Winter Conference held in Cambridge. It's probably the better. We do the summer one in August in Ocean City, and I always call that the party one. I don't think it's as useful as the one in the winter. These are better breakout sessions. We definitely will get a better idea of what's going to happen in the legislative session. As everyone knows, we are very susceptible to what the governor decides to do with his budget. We don't know what he's going to do with the blueprint for education. We keep hearing there could be movement on that one way or the other, as other counties are having a harder time meeting that need. But the good news is we have met our blueprint for education funding. This year, the blueprint states that we should have $127 million allocated towards education. We actually have 134 as our MOE. So this will be an interesting conference to hear what's coming, what's out there. The good news is St. Mary's County is already ahead. This past weekend, my family and granddaughters and wife and daughter went to see the Cosmic Symphony, their Christmas show, and we were treated to Commissioner Colvin and his narrative of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," which he did with this orchestra. Very good job, Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you.
I asked him, did he practice? Because it looked like he was well rehearsed for it, and it was very interesting. Cosmic Symphony, something I got involved going to last year. And I have to say, I miss some, I make some, but if you have time, Cosmic Symphony, it's free, it's at the college, it's on Sundays, it's at 3 p.m. It's really a nice time for everybody. Lastly, today, after this meeting, we'll be going into our budget work session. This is when we're starting to get into the meat and potatoes. This is when we'll talk about the things that are important to individual commissioners. We'll get an overview of the funding that's available to us. We'll get an idea of what's needed for different departments. And it's a good, this is when we're really starting getting into slicing up what I call the pizza pie. You know, that budget is really a matter of about 80% of it is already spent before we even start. We have to see what the needs are, see what we can address. And again, for this commissioner, EMS will be an important priority this year. Thank you.
Eric.
Very good. So just to briefly, Commissioner time this morning, touch on the Cosmic Symphony concerts over the weekend. As Commissioner Hewitt said, they do a phenomenal job, and it was a lot of fun that they asked me to be able to be the narrator for The Night Before Christmas, and what I told people is everybody can sound good when you have a full orchestra behind you, and it was a lot of fun, and I just thank them a lot for letting me participate. But definitely check out their concerts in the spring. They do a wonderful job, and they put a lot of work into it. They're definitely worth attending. And then looking forward to the Mako conference. I think all the full Board of Commissioners will be there this week, and as Commissioner Hewitt said, the winter conference tends to be better, in my opinion. You get a lot more meat and potatoes. It's a lot more useful information. So looking forward to it, and I'll keep everyone updated on what we're doing. Thanks.
Mr. Alderson. Okay, so in interest of brevity, I'll run down real quick. Festival of Trees this weekend. My wife was great, beautiful trees. Sutler Post Farm is doing a opening their farm up for Christmas this weekend. It will also benefit hospice. That's Saturday and Sunday, 11 to 4. Mount Chance Farm off Hurry Road, Friday 6 to 9, Saturday 5 to 9, Sunday 1 to 4. Nice little thing out there on the at that farm there. The community outreach proclamation we did this morning just speaks volumes about what a small group can do as they coalesce into a much larger group, and the good that they can provide. And I've been up here since November of 22, and I've always talked about community and volunteerism. And that right there is absolutely the perfect example of how you can reach out and help other communities outside of us. We ended the RAC agreement with Tri-County Council, and just give you a brief overview on that. 2014 was when the concept plan of this project came about, and here it is 2024, and we're terminating it because we went from a $2 million budget to $8.1 million build on the facility. We've looked at other places. We tried to find other ways to do it, much more cost efficient. We had some resistance in some places, and some places just weren't suitable for relocating to try to make this RAC a reality. On the upside is that it's going to a small business. It's probably where it should have been to begin with. The county or any quasi-governmental group shouldn't be in the business of trying to do retail sales and take an undercut, other small farmers and stuff like that. With that being said, the child care facility that we voted on today, to me, doesn't undercut the private citizens and the private daycares. And there's been some debate about that. We are using that as a benefit for our county employees, especially our DES and our sheriff's office and corrections, to recruit more people to come to work for us. If you can't get them with money, you try to get them with benefits, and that's what we're trying to do. And I think our procurement system needs to be looked at to make things simpler and much easier for local contractors to use. But overall, I think this is a good plan, and I still support doing this. I would like to see it being done cheaper. Like Commissioner Hewitt has pointed out several times, the $500,000 contingency is big, but I think the overall project number is a little bit larger than what it needs to be, and I think we'll come in well under budget on that. And with that, I will pass it on.
Well,
That's true. You got it.
So, had a fairly busy week this past week. Was able to, after the commissioners meeting last week, was able to go and attend the comp plan meeting at Loeffler Senior Center. Excellent job. I want to just give a shout out to our Lugum team for putting that together, and actually all the meetings that were held. I believe there were 3, but that was a great meeting. A lot of people came together, and great ideas put out on how we're going to roll this out within the community, so we're able to gather community inputs, because a lot of people have come up to me and asked me, what are we going to do as far as reaching out into the community to get community input, because they were concerned because we hired a consultant to come in and head this up and do this. So I'm glad to see that we are able to work through this with our consultant and make sure that we are able to gather community input from this. There's going to be a lot more community meetings regarding this at several different places throughout the community, rather than have everybody come here to have a meeting. We're going to be going out into the community and finding locations within the community and hearing from all those different segments of the community. So I think that's an excellent idea, and wholly support that. On Wednesday was privileged to go to the ribbon cutting for our Chamber of Commerce's new offices on Great Mills Road. Absolutely beautiful office space there. So glad to see that they were able to find something that was suitable, and they're staying in Lexington Park right on Great Mills Road. So that's fantastic to see that as well. This past Saturday was my privilege to attend the tree lighting for the Lexington Park tree and menorah. Then the Holly Days festival there. That was a wonderful turnout we had Saturday evening for that. Wonderful ceremony, and just very pleased that so many people came out for that. And that was the first annual one. We're looking to grow that and expand that. It was just a wonderful night. The Lexington Park Rotary was there and had hot chocolate, and we sang songs, and it was a really great community time together. On Sunday as well, there was the Lexington Park Holly Days extravaganza, where Santa and Mrs. Claus were there. We had a lot of local vendors there, so people were able to do some holiday shopping. It was absolutely wonderful right there at the Lexington Park Library. So absolutely wonderful event there that day. So glad to see that was such a huge success. We will be heading off to the Mako conference today. I think the consensus across the whole board is that the winter conference, in my opinion, also is the better, more focused conference. There's a lot more focus on issues. It's not quite the go and party and have a good time. It's much more focused, a lot more work related, and I think a big part of that is because it's centrally located. We're going to one location. We're not spread across a bunch of different locations and driving back and forth to a lot of different things. It's all in one place. It's all very centralized, and the focus they can drill down a little bit more on the focus. So I'm looking forward to this as well. I want to touch on two other things. The RAC, we did vote to terminate that. I've had a lot of people, once again, as I'm going through the county, had expressed concerns with me regarding how are we going to do this, or how are we going to staff it, how are we going to do this. We're taking work and business away from some of the smaller businesses and the smaller farms and things like that if we were going to go forward with the RAC. So I was definitely cognizant of that, and this has now been terminated. That's kind of the perfect example of sort of scope creep, I like to call this. Started off with $2 million, and it turned into something that just was trying to go off in too many different directions over too long of a period of time. So I'm glad to see that we're going to be able to achieve much of what the RAC was intended to be by going through Stoffers and small business local here in the county and being able to support that. So I'm pleased to see that. I voted no today on the Child Care Center. We've had a lot of meetings about it. Commissioner Alderson and I went to a meeting with our procurement team. And I think the child care in itself is a great idea, and I want to see that it's a great benefit for our county employees, and it's something that I think will be good. But my reasons for voting no is I still believe that the price tag of it is way too high, and I don't like the fact that even though some of the work will be done by local subcontractors here, I think again our procurement process needs to be looked at a little closer to. I've been doing procurement for almost 30 years, and we need to look at it, and we need to have ways where local companies have the ability to bid on this, not a statewide company, so we're going to send millions of dollars outside of our county. I want to see that money all stay within our county. So that was my reason for voting no on it. I think we could have approached this a little bit differently. But I do support the child care center in itself. I think that's a good thing for our county. It's good for our county employees, and it's going to help us attract good people to come and fill a lot of the vacancies that we have, and I think it's going to be a good thing for the Sheriff's Department as well to help them when we're able to offer that as part of a benefit for coming to work for St. Mary's County. That being said, hope everybody has a great, safe rest of the week. We'll be adjourning for a few moments and then reconvening for the budget work session. I'll pass it on.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. Mine can be short and brief because we're running a little late here now, but one thing I want to bring up about this voting for the Child Care Center, this is a benefit that we look at for all of our county employees, and anything we can do to make it better for the work environment, attract people to come to work for St. Mary's County, I'm all for it. And it may be some have little problems with our procurement process, but that's something we do internally here to correct it, if that's a problem. We'll work on correcting that, but right now, there's no time to correct it. So anyway, I'm glad I voted for it, and I look forward to it being processed and going on. Next, the comp plan, the hearings we just heard from the 3 different places is trying to get involvement from the community. We want people to step up, like those who are homeowner association presidents, community leaders. You need to step up and get your community involved and information going to this group who's going through this comp plan. This is pretty important. You're talking about almost 25-year plan on developing St. Mary's County. And it is important. And I know things have changed in our county a lot since 1943 when the base showed up, and then during the BRACs in the 90s and the 2000 areas. We have grown tremendously. But we need to be smart with our development. We have a lot of small farms and everything that still want to continue on. They're doing well. We want to keep them that way. So we've got this big thing about the rural development and our economic development. And all this is important to our county to grow and make a good lifestyle for all of our people. So I want to continue doing that, but get involved with this comp plan as much as possible. Now, one thing I noticed on Facebook, 2010 post of Eric Colvin.
Uh-oh.
With hair down to his shoulders.
I miss it, too.
I was shocked to see that. And I had to look real twice. I said, that is Eric there. I couldn't believe it. But anyway,
It's still there.
Eric used to have a lot of hair, I mean, it was down to his shoulder. So it's very impressive. I'm sure it's during your college days, right? Okay. All right. That won't happen again, unfortunately. Another thing I want to shout out to our senior centers. I mean, for those of you who haven't been involved in it, if you need to get on the mailing list to get these booklets. Now, last Tuesday, my wife and I and my sister-in-law, we went to the Garvey Senior Center to learn cupcake decorating. Now you're saying, why does a commissioner president want to decorate cupcakes? Well, I'd never done it before. Yes, I do cook a lot. I bake cakes, but I've never done it but just put icing on it, and that's it.
When are you bringing cupcakes in for us?
I do a great job with the bunny cake every Easter. I make a great bunny cake. But I've never decorated. Well, this was really great. There was I think there was like 9 or 10 people there. Of course, I was the only guy there, band. But I really learned a lot about how to decorate a cake, and especially a little cupcake. And we made wreaths on a couple of them. We put some Christmas tree on one of them and things like that. And this lady who was teaching the class, it was fantastic. And so I learned a lot, but I don't know if I'm going to make this my lifetime skill from now on, or my future to be the cupcake decorator, but it was exciting, and we had a good time with that. But I'm just telling all the seniors out there, look up these programs. There's unbelievable things we have out there for our seniors at these various areas. So make sure you go out there and participate. With that being said, I knew we were going to adjourn for about 3 minutes. Is that enough time for you to?
Yep, they'll call us when they're ready.
Good. About 3 minutes, and then we'll go right into our budget work session. Adjourn.